Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Ishvaro Guratmati Moti Beda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Savavedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satiguru Pranatoshmaham Om Om Shanti Shanti Shantyam Namaste. We begin on page 23rd, class 2. Is that correct, Lynn?
I had that we stopped at the bottom of 19, but I can be wrong.
Okay, let me see.
Swamiji, we know my problem is. That's where I see it.
Okay. I thought we have concluded the first introduction. Maybe I'm wrong. Because I was working with the convert text to Word, but when you do a conversion like that, somebody did it to me, and it makes a lot of errors when I start editing or making notes. So I went back to work with the PDF. Which paragraph you believe we stopped? On the page 19?
But Swamiji, we know my problem is. But do we have concurrence from Mark or Philippe?
Yeah, I think we're also on page 19. I'm not exactly sure what paragraph it is, but mine was set up on page 19, so I think that's where we stopped.
Okay, and then let's begin from there. We already recording? No, yeah, we are recording already. Okay, doke. Page 19, the first introduction. Unfortunately, there is a mistaken assumption. Swamiji says, my problem is others do not know me. My wife does not know me, does not understand me. Others do not know me. We know ourselves, Veda says. Everybody knows this. Aham, I am, I exist. We think that we know correctly this aham, this I am. This is our general assumption, but more often than not, what we take to be self-knowledge is a certain knowledge in regards to our construct, mental, emotional, physical construct. We take for self, if one thing we take for granted, it is ourselves. We have never asked, but what the heck is this aham? No? I think we know aham, but no, we have superimposed the attributes of the body-mind to the self. And we never get to the bottom of it to understand our nature as altogether unchanging and totally free and independent from the body-mind construct. Therefore, the knowledge we assume to have ourselves is wrong knowledge, misconceptions, because there is a popular idea that I need not to be known, I need not be knowledge. What is popular need not be right knowledge. The most common thing. Common sense, common knowledge usually is mistaken knowledge. But by consent, since we live in an ocean of avidya, of ignorance, so most of the knowledge comes with that constitution, you know, it's small bits and pieces with mixed up with a lot of ignorance. An example, for several years, they thought that the sun is going around, blah, 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 blah. We are talking about now the physical laws that we made mistakes. But at the time, some heads were rolling and cut, chopped off because people would go against the general consensus. Oh, no, this is true knowledge. Okay, if you go against, and then you're going to be demonized like we see happening these days in this world. When a scientist declares something that's not according to the consensus of the masses, which usually is more often than not mistaken, either deliberately or not. So it took a lot of time for humanity to accept that any scientific knowledge is subject to error and correction. And it takes even more time until people understand that nothing can be trusted in society, much less coming from the governments whatsoever, right? Left, it's about the same thing. Vedanta says, Mandukya says, only the Upanishad will present the knowledge that will reveal that which is not subject to mistake, which is your nature's limitless consciousness. The entire humanity is steeped in self-ignorance and self-misconception. If ignorance and misconception should go, we should have self-knowledge. That's the indirect mean by which Vedanta frees us from this tough, cosmic, all-pervasive, and mostly pervasive, avidya, ignorance of the true nature of reality. If we indirectly remove all those wrong notions, and then the self shine on its own because it's self-revealing, rightly? Therefore, what is vi.ayah? Atma is vi.ayah. Then what is prayojanam? What is the benefit of this knowledge? Very important. Benefit of what? Mukti, moksha, is freedom. Moksha is otherwise called also shreya. In Veda Purva, we said prayer. Here, shreya, which is the benefit of this self-knowledge. Is freedom from what? It's freedom from many things. Now, fundamentally, it's freedom from ignorance. And then the ignorance is going to produce emotional dependence. Emotional dependence will produce emotional dependence on the world. And then all this dependence is going to produce samsara, pain, suffering. So in here it's represented in a very, very advanced level, which is, okay, why you are suffering so much? Because I'm still enjoying dependence on the triangular mode format as presented by Swamiji. But how so? Now you are a devotee and you relate to God, you try to understand God's laws and principles, and you just transferred your dependence from people, place, things, and events, of this world to God. And so he says, no, this is not freedom yet. This is not freedom yet. You are still emotionally dependent on God. How so? Dharma, artha, and karma. So dharma is when you became a religious person and you transferred your dependence from things of this world to God. So you became a religious person. And then, of course, I transferred to Ishwara, I observe Dharma, and I still continue pursuing Artha and Karma. But that does not bring freedom. We are looking into the entire structure of all the Vedas, in which there is Veda Purva and Veda Anta. Veda Purva, at the most, is going to seek Saguna God, is going to seek Dharma, and the betterment, improvement, purification, refinement of the body-mind construct. And why I'm still stuck there in this religious samsara? Because I had concluded that without without this dependence, my life is going to collapse. Therefore, I know I need a house, a good job, and a lot of things to give me support, and I need protection of God as well. So therefore, I will learn about God and conform to its laws and principles. Owner's pride, neighbors envy. So we keep acquiring things. A little side note, little gossip. I received a message from a friend of mine that, well, I mean, it's basically the only friend I have in the USA nowadays, which is from the husband of my first wife. And he sends me a beautiful music. Lynn knows, I think most everybody, it's an older song, say, I did my way. You remember that one, Lynn? I'm away, but I'm away, but I'm away. I did my way. And he sent it to me. I said, this one, it makes me, give me goose and so on. And when I die, I want this music played because I did my way. And then I had to stop there and wait, and see what I'm going to tell to this guy. Now, and then I did a side note. I sent him a different song, a link to a different song in which the song was praising God and let be done your way, not my way, and something. I said, this is a better alternative, my friend. I mean, to think that you live your way is just pride and vanity, So I have to go soft on him, otherwise I push him too hard. So we go for things, and then we develop this sense of pride and vanity and arrogance, and then we suffer, although we believe that we are still religious people. Dharma is one more thing that you're gonna acquire, and that's not going to free you. Emotional dependence is not freedom, even if it's emotional dependence on God. Okay. So he presents here mundaka that with a few notes, which is some guy, I would say some lines of the mundaka in respect to the creation. It says, I donate 3 things to the entire creation, Brahman, speaking as Brahman. So I lend existence to the world, I lend consciousness to the body-mind complex of all jivas, and I lend ananda, happiness. I lend ananda, happiness. If anybody is happy, anywhere, I alone am responsible for this happiness. It's just a very, very shine reflection or shade, a small reflection of one's limitless nature, because here there people get what they want, and then the mind somehow becomes more reflective, more sattvic. And then one experience what? One's inner self, which is ananda. So I'm the one, lending us, or I would say here, donating this reflected ananda to you. This is all coming to me, which, by the way, it's your true nature. It's your very nature. Therefore, I do not depend upon dharma, artha, kama. This freedom from emotional dependence is moksha, which in Sanskrit is called anapeksha. Okay, and then he keeps going on the way people get caught up in samsara, family, children, it's something so big. It's so big. It's such a big thing to be a father and a mother because the attachment, you know, it can be very subtle, very subconscious, but it's almost unavoidable, you know, a sense of wanting the best, want to protect the children. So some people expect the children to love them back, but they are missing, okay, what they are missing. So they are missing the most important thing, that there is only one self. So if you know the self, you are not going to be missing anything. And this is called moksha. That is the line here. Okay. So prayojanam is moksha, freedom from emotional dependence, which means freedom from ignorance, which is freedom from suffering. And as he often puts, some physical, practical dependence we cannot avoid. No, I depend on 1 or 2 meals a day and a roof over my head to keep living. So there is a sense of dependence. The body-mind depends, but you have to regulate this dependence on the emotional level. On the emotional level. When the dependence on the emotional level goes away, this is called freedom. And then the next factor is sambandhah. Visaya is atma vidyam. Prayojanam is moksha. What is the connection between Visaya and prayojanam? So he's reminding us of the first class in which, or he's still in the first class, and it's just a reminder to us that he was seeing the difference between the teachings on moksha and the teachings on Veda Purva, in which you learn the relationship, the proper relationship with God, so that you get security and peace and a sense of protection. So what is the connection between Visaya and prayojanam? In the case of karma-ka.d, knowledge by itself does not give the final benefit, but you have to do work, to do sadhana. There is the effort here, which is the sadhana, the effort, Visaya. So the effort has to be there. And we know in karma-ka.d, the sadhana, the effort here is something that you do on the mental, verbal, or physical level. You can do it mentally, you can do it verbally, or you can do a physical level as well. But once we move into the ana-ka.d, is that there is no fruit, there is no separation, there is no byproduct. So this is presented here, providing you go into the ana-ka.d and you assimilate the knowledge right away. And then not only you get the knowledge, but you get the fruit of the knowledge, okay? So the advantage with jnana, once the knowledge was properly understood, assimilated, and internalized, so there is no result. The result of actions is always an experience. This is something that James used to say, and it's to the point. So the result of actions is always invariably an experience. And the result of the jnana yoga, which is about study and contemplation on these texts of the Upanishads, which reveals the true nature of the individual, there is nothing that we can do, but there is a certain activity there, which is contemplation, reflection, study, discerning. So it's still a kind of a sadhana. It's a sadhana that does not involve mantra repetition or does not involve doing anything verbal or physical. It involves only the intellect in an effort to fully understand these statements, these declarations, these mahavakyas of identity. And then once you get the understanding, and then the fulfillment is the knowledge itself. But here and there in our text, we see that the reference to this expression, the difference between karma-palan and jnana-palan. So jnana-palan, in the beginning, begins more on the intellectual level, and then later on, its fruits is the jnana itself. Jnana is the palan once the jnana was properly assimilated. You understand the subtle point I'm making here? So the knowledge is I am worth by myself. I am the self. I don't need anything else. I don't need to lean on Saguna Brahman or anything. I am the sense of the entire universe. I'm the only reality. We'll see more and more such mantras, beautiful mantras, Vedas say, Vedas. Why are you running behind after people, name, fame, position, security, possessions, assets? You do not need anything because, you are the only source of richness, of security. You don't need to be respect or having name and fame, or social position. You don't need to be a famous guru or a famous anything. So that sambandhah connection is what? Jnana, matrena, moksha is the direct benefit. So jnana itself is the end by itself, okay? So when we do yoga sadhanas of doing things, we're gonna get the benefit, which is we do yoga because we want to get better body-mind construct, more purified, more qualified. So we do yoga, and then we have a better experience of ourselves, such as a more peaceful mind and more calm, more focused mind, and so on. So there is a difference between what you do and what you experience. But with the Jnana Yoga, the benefit is intrinsic in the knowledge that you are just contemplate. Okay, you are contemplate, and the benefit is already there. Aham Brahmasmi. Okay. Karma and its results is not required with the Jnana Yoga. In karma-ka.d.am, knowledge, action, benefit. In jnana-ka.d.am, knowledge and benefit. Knowledge is the benefit. Then what is the next factor? Adhikari. What and who is the target audience? So who is going to be interested in these final teachings or revelations of the Vedas? So almost nobody. What is the first qualification for accomplishing or pursuing anything? Is desire for that thing. We have seen it. Desire is required. So you have desire for Veda Purva, which is going to give you security, sense pleasures, and good paravada, good punya, or even punya after death, according to the culture. So, or you have the desire for Veda anta, which gives you the so-called freedom from dependence, and because it's a declaration of independence, I am Brahman, the only reality. I'm free and independent from anything of this world, including this body-mind construct. But desire for what? In the case of Veda Purva, we have the desire for artha, kama, dhamma. In the case of jnana, or Vedanta, we have desire for moksha. The first qualification in both cases, he's making this comparison, this analysis, putting on in both cases, Veda Purva and Veda anta, karma-ka.d.am, and jnana-ka.d.am. In both cases, there is a qualification, number one, which is desire for that. The second qualification is I should know the limitations of dharma, artha, karma. I should know the limitations of anything of this world. If I do not know the limitations, I will have the desire. If I do not know the limitation, I will have desire for them, expect something that it will never deliver. Knowing the limitation, I should become desireless. So now desireless appears almost to be the desire required for the desire for moksha. But here, the desireless, I have desired, I have no desire, I have vairagya in respect to artha, karma, and dharma. Okay? So I should become desireless. So there are two qualifications. In the first one, we say I should have desire. And for moksha, we should have desireless in regards to artha, karma, dharma. But from another angle, we say, but for moksha, you also need a desire, which is called mumukshutva, which is a desire for assimilation of those revelations in regards to your true nature. This burning, intense desire to assimilate this knowledge. And then he says, okay, Swamiji, are you really right? I should have desire, and then in the end, I should have no desire? Swamiji, are you all right? You are contradicting yourself, because it seems that in both cases, we need desire. So I already jumped the gun here and I explained most probably what Swami is going to say here. I did not read this part today because I thought we would begin from class number 2. So, but let's see what he said. Desire is called viveka. Desireless is called vairagya. You ride 2 horses and fall. Therefore, shreya, icha, and priya vairagya. Let me read a little bit before here. Desire with regards to moksha is equal to desireless in regards to things of this world. That's exactly what I was pointing to. So it's still a desire. A lot of people feel that way, I mean, so this thing about desire for moksha, and in the end, it has to be dropped, because any desire is going to create a certain stress. It's still a stressor, a subtle stressor, desire for moksha. But the point here is you need to develop vairagya. Vairagya is desireless in regards to dharma, artha, karma. As long as I am invested on my desires for artha, karma, dharma, my attention will be split, will be there, but I also have a desire for moksha. So desire for moksha depends on the energy that is hooked to the desires, into the desires artha, karma, dharma. So I have to free up that energy by pulling my desire for things of this world so that I have enough energy for desiring moksha. Desiring moksha is synonymous, is also called desireless, and which is also called vairagya. Desire with regards to moksha is the ultimate viveka, discrimination. And this desireless, which is vairagya, which is one of the symptoms of the yoni, is freedom. You don't lean on anything, you don't depend on anything, you don't desire anything, and you are not really afraid. There is this desire, attraction, and repulsion is what consumes most of people's life energy. So how am I going to get this vairagya, desirelessness? By knowing the limitations of everything related to artha, karma, dharma. Right, Mark? Remembering the teachings on the defects of everything, anything we get from this world. They are all finite, they are all limitable, and if they give any sense of security, it's defect. If they give any sense of peace and happiness, it's defect. It's perishable. There are 3 points here. A mix with pain, always. Yeah? So the second point of this, what we get from Dharma, Artha, Kama. First is it's always mixed with pain. The most fundamental pain is the pain that you already carry, you know, because it's so get what you want, to get what you want, you understand? So by the time you accomplish what you wanted, you're already a little bit burned out. And then there is a sense of, oh my God, you know, I worked so hard to get this one. And then there is immediate fear and how I'm going to keep it, how I'm going to maintain it. The second one is the satisfaction will never be there all the time. Why? Because the mind is coming, oh, okay, you got it? Okay, take it easy, huh? And the list here is too long. Oh, look at this other desire. Huh? So it's they will never give it satisfaction. The mind is going to present the number 2 main desire to be accomplished. And the third thing is they will make you dependent on what you accomplished or got, because once you get, you know, and then you have the problem of attachment and dependence. How I'm going to keep it? So it is a junk kind of condition. And most people are junkies, yeah? Like people depend on certain drugs. Most people depends on people, place, things, and circumstances and events. So you don't want to live that way. Those are the limitations of anything we can gain through Artha, Karma, Dharma. But there is something that we can get there as a good karma yogi, which has immense value, without which it's impossible to go into the ana-ka.d.am of the Vedanta. So we need to get mental purification, mental strength. You know, if we know that we are pursuing Artha, Karma, but because we need to have on the practical level those things, but emotionally what I want is what? This mental, emotional, psychological strength. I want a strong mind. I want a focused mind, a pure mind, a refined mind. Okay, so if one keeps that perspective as a highly evolved karma yogi, yeah, and then one is good to go. One is never going to be really hooked and dependent and bound to these things, because I'm not really searching things for their own sake. I'm searching things for the sake of Dharma, and this Dharma observance is going to purify my mind and fit and prepping my mind for moksha, for Jnana Yoga. Usually a person does both together simultaneously. A good karma yogi is also a good Jnana Yogi. So what is the most important desire in the kanda of Dharma, Artha, Kama? No? Is, you know, mental preparedness. No? Mental purification, a pure mind, cultivate good mind with good vasanas. No, observe Dharma, and so on. So, and if you desire that, you're desiring the highest in the in the scope, you know, of mithya. What do you want in life? Well, I want to have such a clear mind, such a pure mind, such a focused mind. But what? What are you going to do with the mind? I'm going to inquire into the true nature of reality. Well, this is a very beautiful desire. Now, you already know why you have that desire. That is my intermediate goal, my intermediate desire. Next qualification is the discipline for systematic study, because this is knowledge-centric pursuit. It's not action-packed movie. The action movies. There are people who want only action movies. The Ana-ka.d.am is not like action movies, action Hollywood movies. It is analysis-centric, understanding-centric, knowledge-centric. Therefore, there must be a lot of internal discipline for commitment, to stay committed to Shravana, Mana, Nididhyasana. So we are entering the Jnana Yoga of Vedanta. And for that, we need to have a pure mind and a very disciplined mind. Now, determined to go through the consistent, systematic study with the help of an acharya. Discipline, focus, purity. So viveka, vairagya, satika, and mumukshutva. In Tattva Bodha, we use the word 4D. Well, discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire. Discrimination, viveka, to know the difference between dharma and adharma. Discrimination on the viveka, to know difference between. So this is one level. I often present the viveka in its initial stage. We need to learn to discriminate between dharma and adharma. We need to get the knowledge, the rational aspect of the knowledge, and then we have to be very discerning and to see that we really conform our lives with the laws and principles of dharma. So this discrimination is begins with discriminating dharma from adharma. And to the extent that you really filter all those adharmic tendencies, you're going to develop more and more purity. And vairagya is going to be a natural outcome. So you're going to develop vairagya. How so? So you are discriminating dharma from adharma. You understood the value of dharma, and now you are ready to sacrifice your desires based on your vasanas. I want what I want. I want what I enjoy. I want what gives me pleasure. So you're going to sacrifice your likes and dislikes in the altar of dharma. So this is a huge discrimination by which vairagya, this passion, grows very quickly. I'm done with enjoying life, at such high cost. How so? No, because I want what I want, and then I push it, and I end up violating dharma, and then I suffer in any case, and I make others suffer as well. So the mind has to be purified to be able to discriminate between dharma and adharma. Vairagya is a natural outcome, and discipline must be there. And then the last one is a desire. Desire for what? For moksha. And then he presents here, you need to discriminate in the context of this analysis here, you need to discriminate what you get from karma-ka.d.am and what you get from ana-ka.d.am, okay? Dispassion with regard to dharma, artha, karma. Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm not going to violate dharma. I'm going to continue, try to accomplish the practical needs that I have for myself and for my family, but never violating the dharma. So then discipline. I have to have a lot of discipline to be able to do Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. If these four are there, a good mind, a good discerning, discriminating mind, a mind that has already began enjoying the fruits of discrimination, which is vairagya, an ability to give up one's likes and dislikes, because there is something much higher, which is the Dharma. Once properly observed, it's going to purify the mind like nothing else. Now, and then one is a candidate for Vedanta. And how does this happen? It's natural. Your mind is going to become more and more wise, and then when you see vairagya is there, and then you see, wow, but these vasanas, they are tough. They are still trying to pull my leg. And then discipline, I'm going to put up a fight here, because now I have the knowledge, and I have a huge willpower, because my willpower here now is supported by understanding where I stand, understanding. Yeah? And then Swami says that in the culture of Hinduism, transforming every Hindu from Veda Purva to Veda Anta candidate seems to be the suggestion. Okay. So second class introduction, continuation. He refresh our minds respect to the Vedas, that they are structured, divided as karma-ka.d.am and ana-ka.d.am. And then he start analyzing to see if this division of something which is one scripture, one book, why to divide that? And then he start analyzing to say the segregation is valid, is appropriate, because of anubandha, catu.t.aya, blah, blah, blah. The four factors associated with these two shastras are different. We saw those four factors. The candidates are different. The benefits you gain is different. The subject matter you're going to study is different. And the connection between my effort and the fruits of my effort is also different. Okay? Adhikari, prayojanam, vi.ayah, sambandhah. In English, candidate, benefits, subject matter, and connection. So, and then he brings his symbols, yeah? C, B, S, and C. Okay. In which way these four things are different? The candidate for karma-ka.d.am is one, and the candidate for ana-ka.d.am is another one. Priorities is, the first one is dharma, artha, karma, and the moksha is the second one. Okay, candidate number 2 wants moksha, the spiritual goal, the ultimate goal. This is one's top priority. We should not merely say it's just one of his goals. No, it has to be top goal, top priority. Okay. Priorities are different in the life of these two people. And samsara is not only the physical material of samsara. Samsara is also religious by nature. Some people, they get stuck in the religious samsara. So once, if you go for the artha, karma, dharma, the benefit, the ultimate result is punya, wealth, and enjoyments, pleasurable enjoyments, whereas the benefit of ana-ka.d.am is moksha. So the candidates are different, the benefits are different, the subject matter is different, And the relationship we just saw is different as well, the way the relation between the efforts and the fruits. So what's the problem with karma-ka.d.am? It makes the person extroverted in nature. It's only doing things to get something, doing things to get something. Varieties of things, done, doing, experiencing, experience. Whereas in the ana-ka.d.am, the subject matter is knowledge. The knowledge is through investigation, self-investigation in the light of the teachings of the Upanishads. So you're going to study and reflect, contemplating until you know your true nature. So it's not an extrovert pursuit, it's an inner pursuit, we could put it, you know. We are not doing things to gain something with respect to my relationship with the material world. I'm just introspecting, analyzing, studying, contemplating. And my goal is to have a firmly understanding of my true nature, which is free. So I'm turning more in words, so to speak. These two words you might be familiar: anta, samaradaya, and bahimukha. So during Navaratri, you may read Lalita Sasharanam. Therefore, subject matter is different. And then finally, the last thing is the connection between my efforts and the fruits are different. Karma-ka.d.am, the connection is indirect connection. In the ana-ka.d.am, the connection is a direct, because my effort to assimilate the knowledge is a hard, firm, clear knowledge, which is not the mean for anything, but it's the end by itself. It's a knowledge of one's nature as moksha. The third, the knowing, the assimilating, is by itself the benefit. There is no division. And doing something to gain anything, that the knowledge in the very beginning is already the end. It just needs to be properly assimilated. So the aim of Hinduism seems to be converting, according to Swami, the Hindus in candidates for Vedanta. And then he talked of candidate one, I will call religious materialist person. This is the religious materialism. Religious samsara. The candidate number one, he's labeling as religious materialistic person. Candidate number two, we can call it religious spiritual person. I love Swamiji saying that if you want to be a Vedantine, you must become a religious spiritual person. No, I want to be just religious person. No, that's not gonna do it. You're gonna be stuck in the religious samsara. You have to look, you have to search, you have to go all the way to understand the spirit, the core, the true nature of everything. So the first one, Swami calls religious spiritual person. So the candidate number two, highly qualified, is also a religious person, but it's a religious spiritual person. Oh, no, I want to be a highly candidate person for moksha, but let's leave out this idea of God and my relationship with God. I don't care for any religion. So I want to be a spiritual person. I'm going to drink ayahuasca and do other things, and I will call myself spiritual. No, both have the religious element, but there is a fine difference. The first candidate used religion for getting what? Getting artha, karma, dharma. Security, pleasures, especially. You are in the field of religious materialism. The person is religious materialistic person, whereas candidate number 2 use the religions to qualify, to prep, to develop, so that the person can grow, to become a spiritual person. This is religious spirituality, and he is a religious spiritual person. So this is a conversion of religious materialistic to religious spiritual person, assuming that one is religious, which is the basis. That's the most difficult concept to present for Westerners, because people have a certain allergy to all kinds of religious or concepts of God. They want to go to moksha without dealing with God, without being a religious person. Suppose a person is a religious person, then what to do? Then you have to add one more step, convert non-religious person into religious materialistic person. So I will put in this language, no religious materialist person, you non-religious materialistic person, you convert into religious materialistic person. Then convert religious materialist person into religious spiritual person. So you have the total materialistic person. The first thing is to integrate God, that the knowledge in respect to God in the life of this person who was atheist, materialistic. And then he becomes a religious materialistic person. And then further down, he must convert to become a religious, materialistic, spiritual person. A religious, spiritual person. This conversion is a huge step. It may take a few months, weeks, years, or decades. So the next step is, how does this conversion takes place? I'm not talking about religion's conversion that's taking place. And so he's saying, I'm not talking about converting you from Hinduism to Christianity or anything like that. This is problematic. There are several methods to bring about this conversion from total materialism to religious materialism, and then to religious spiritual life. I will present some methods here which are based on our scriptures. The first one, so to help you to move, to make or begin making these conversions, is first method is regularly and repeatedly read Shankaracharya's Bhaja Govindan work. Regularly and repeatedly read that text. But remembering, enjoying the meaning, keeping the meaning alive, not mechanically. Shankaracharya has written the work for this internal conversion. This is one method, method number one, as suggested by Swami Paramarthananda. Method number two is read regularly and repeatedly the 16th chapter of the Gita. Read regularly and repeatedly, because Lord Krishna has designed that chapter exactly for this purpose, internal conversion. I want to convert now my personality from being a religious materialistic person to a religious spiritual person. These books and this chapter 16 is often referred as conversion textbooks. The third one is regularly and repeatedly read the 17th chapter of the Gita called Shraddha-traya Vibhava Yoga. The faith that we have must be converted. So the 7th chapter as well. The faith that we have must be converted. Now, we have got faith in what? We have got faith into Ishwara, in Saguna Ishwara. The materialistic person has faith in money. So this faith is easy for everybody. So again, he points out that those kinds of features every human being have, like such as focused or vairagya. We have vairagya from things that do not give us pleasure to us because they don't match our likes. So we have those things. My question is to use these things appropriately. Faith is there, so you have to understand that you have faith in the world and the people and the things, and you need to convert that faith that you have in things of this world, Artha Karma especially, into the faith in Ishwara. Lord Krishna talks about that in the 17th chapter. And then from Ishwara, you're going to convert that faith in Saguna Ishwara into the faith of Nirguna Ishwara, which is the non-dual devotion, the non-dual knowledge, non-dual faith. So this is the third conversion program. Regularly and repeatedly read the 7th chapter of the Gita, not very mechanically or fast. Don't do it if you're thinking of breakfast. Read it and chew it. So the fourth suggestion of Swami Paramarthananda is reading and understand is not enough. All these 3 books, conversion books, talk about this. They give instructions to implement also this conversion. Practicing on implementation of the conversion. Therefore, we have to regularly see the connection between what I know and the way I'm living my life. Connection between what we know and what we are doing, what we are, our day-to-day behavior. Am I really reflecting? My life is reflecting and the desire I have for total independence, or my knowledge is that I am converted, but my actions, words, and deeds demonstrates that I'm still somehow doubtful. Therefore, I'm still having faith in the things of this world as a means to complete me. So this is what's going to regularly put those into the test. See, observe your behavior, your attitude. This is a kind of application of knowledge to see the difference between what you know and the way you live your life. The gap between these two should become lesser and lesser and lesser as the conversion takes place. Don't be concerned, bothered about the rate of progress. The rate of progression will vary from individual to individual. Never compare the rate of progress. Never look to others. This is called anustanam. So it's vadyaha and anustanam. of these three textbooks will gradually convert a religious materialistic person into a religious spiritual person. And once this conversion takes place, what happens? And then he says, oh, there will be nothing really esoteric, or there will be no glow in your eyes, or your energy, your aura is not going to change. None of these esoteric things matter. Do not expect anything extraordinary. Vedanta is not interested in anything exoteric. The indication is very simple, and only you fundamentally will notice is a conversion, inner conversion. In the Bradharanyaka Upanishad, it is presented in a very beautiful way. As this internal conversion takes place, a person will be interested in self-knowledge more and more and more, and less interest in actions and experience. Oh, but I want both. I want to experience everything. I have a huge list. I want to touch, see, hear, and feel, and I want to go in many places, travel, So as we really become a religious, spiritual person, these desires begin fading, and you become more and more interested in understanding your true nature. And that is going to compel you to dedicate more quality time to scripture study and satsang with your teacher. Lord Krishna calls it Jnanus Bhakti. Both indicate a huge interest in studying the spiritual scriptures. What type of study? Consistent. This is important. Swamiji highlights it all the time. Consistent and systematic study of the spiritual scripture for a length of time with the help of acharya. And what are the scriptures? Three are considered the most important. Prasthana Trayam, the three most important scriptures. Threefold spiritual course. One is the Bhagavad Gita, of course. The 16th and the 7th chapter do not talk about self-knowledge. Remember, therefore, we need to study the entire Gita. Be careful. The 16th and the 7th chapter deals only with this conversion that Swami is talking about here. We need to study the entire Gita to get the full package. They will deal with artha, karma, and dharma, and moksha. The entire, they are deal with who am I? What's the nature of reality? What's the nature of God? What's the nature of everything? Bhagavad Gita deals with this subject matter as well. Therefore, that course is number one. This is the basic course to be done. Then we have to go to the higher course, the graduate course, which is called the Upanishadic teachings, which are the source from where Bhagavad Gita extract its content. Everything that was extracted by the Upanishad, that's the beauty. And from the Vedas as well. Therefore, Upanishad course is important. That's why after Gita, Swamiji often prescribe a course on Upanishad. Gita should have been completed, and I assume all the students here, coming here, have completed. graduation is generally sufficient, but if a person is more interested, we have a postgraduate course for the Gita also, which no, after the Gita, which is called Brahma Sutra. So we have three sources that is recommend: Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutras. But you need to address it not as an academic scholar. In order to receive and retain this knowledge, you have to be a scientist, an inquirer, investigator. Only then you will get liberation. You get a parokshayana. Okay, so let's stop here. So, anything from you, please?
I'm thinking that this last advice about these four, the Gita chapters and etc. You know, sometimes I wonder if my desire is full enough, you know, because life just keeps going on and I'm studying and all this, but so maybe it's good to go back and do those chapters
Which
of the Gita. The 17th, you know, the ones we were just discussing. The
yeah.
ones about the three different kinds of values and all that stuff that he was
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. The most
Always
important,
you.
go ahead.
Always good to go back.
Yeah.
James calls it requalifying,
Yeah.
right?
Dayananda used to call it. Yeah, we have just a certain amount of time, but you guys have enough understanding to do self-study, you know, get those chapters and start going through them, and then you can present your questions or doubts to me, you understand? So if we decide to stay with the Bhagavad Gita, we will get there, but it will take time. If we don't die before that, if we don't leave the body before that. Right, Mark?
Yeah, yeah. This class actually reminded me of Shirdi Sai Baba. Shirdi Sai Baba was a saint who would give whatever people came and asked for. If people came and asked for children, they would have children. Would give them whatever materialistic things that they wanted. And somebody once asked Shirdi, why was he giving people material things? And he said, I give people what they ask for because one day they will ask for what I want to give them, which is spiritual knowledge. The
Yeah.
sooner that they fulfill all their material desires and material needs, then they will come asking for spiritual knowledge.
That's very
And that
beautiful.
was his aim.
What who has elaborated this passage? Whose guru is that?
That was Shirdi Sai Baba. The Sai Baba in like the 1850s from Shirdi.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Today's Friday, so we go back to Gita on next Monday. And then we keep cruising it. Just we keep going. And there is no rush. There is nothing better to do, you know, in life, but just to make an effort to grow in our qualifications and in knowledge and ultimate self-knowledge. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Okie dokie. See you later, alligator. Bye-bye.
Thank you.